Today, what we are going to see is understand the usages of Excel, what can be done in Excel, and see the important metrics and get started. Excel is a spreadsheet application. Basically, spreadsheet application is simply nothing but handling tables. It's an application that can help us to handle tables very efficiently. Now you can ask me, why do I have to know a spreadsheet application? I can use database, I can use different other tools to process data. But the point is, there is no tool that is as flexible as Excel when it comes to perform data cleansing, data analysis, data visualization, even automation at times. So it is one-stop shop for all the data related activities in real-time world. There is a very common saying in IT that Excel is the most underrated tool, but Excel is actually the most widely used tool as well, because it can do a lot of activities. In general, what happens? A company runs a business. Through business, we generate data. Once we generate data, what we need to do? We need to do two tasks with the data. First, we need to store the data and we need to perform calculations to understand the data. Correct? Excel lets us to do both of them very efficiently. Okay, so that is another main advantage of using Excel. After storing data, if I want to perform calculations in the form of visualizations, in the form of formulas and functions, in the form of automation, everything is feasible with Excel. So what we will do is, we will see how does the spreadsheet application look like. Let's connect to some data tables. Let's perform some sort of activities and understand how efficient it is to answer it. So I have launched and spread the Excel. This is 2019's Excel. You can just go to File ribbon here and then choose the account option. It will tell you what type of software you are using. I'm using Microsoft Office Home and Student 2019. Any version less than 2013 may not support all the functions that I'm going to show you today. Please ensure that you use anything above 2013 of Microsoft product to perform all the tasks that I'm going to show you. Now, let me walk you through the interface first before directly jumping into tasks. Here, these are all ribbons. The top one are the ribbons, and this is called the spreadsheet. And these are column headers, A, B, C, all the way till something is there. And these are the row values, row numbers basically. And we have the sheet name. And yeah, I guess this is good enough for now. Okay, maybe this one is required. Formula bar and basically our cell editor. Let me choose a different color. So this is our spreadsheet. We are going to store data in the form of matrix. What is matrix? Matrix is simply nothing but rows into columns, right? In school, we have seen this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have row 1, row 2, column 1, and column 2, correct? In Excel, if you see the entire spreadsheet, it is in the form of a matrix only. Only 2-dimensional data can be stored in Excel. You cannot store 3-dimensional data or more dimensional data. Only in rows and columns we can store it. Now, if I store something, the next important question is, how do I access it? Now, if I have cash, how do I spend it? How do I access it? Correct? If I'm going to save my cash in a bank, how do I access it? Through debit cards, through credit cards, through multiple channels, right? Similarly, if I store data in Excel, how do I access it? It becomes very complicated when we have large volume of data. That's why the indexing of columns and rows is provided to us. So these are column headers. The column headers are always denoted in alphabets. It has 16,600 change columns. That is the total number of columns available in Excel. In terms of rows, it can handle only 1 million records, 10 lakh, 64,000 some change rows. Only these many rows are available in one sheet at a time. So everything is stored in the format of spreadsheet only. Okay, it is just important to understand that. So if I want to access anything, suppose say for example, I am writing a value in this particular intersection of column I 11th row. So this is called as a cell. The intersection of row and column is called as a cell. Okay, there are plenty of cells here. I'll just show you the number of columns that are there here and the number of rows as well. Now, if you see the number of rows, there are 10,48,000 rows it can handle. Basically, only 1 million record can be handled or stored in one sheet. But in an Excel file, we can create and store data in as many sheets as possible. Okay, we can store it in multiple sheets. In terms of columns, let me show you the number of columns as well. If you see here, 16,384 columns are there. So if you take 16,384 columns with 10,48,056 rows, the number of data points that can be stored is these many. I guess this is more than 1 trillion data points that can be stored in one single sheet. But this is just theoretical. Okay, Excel says that it can handle all the way till 16,000 rows, 16,000 columns, and 1 million records. But in real time, what happens is, this is actually the only drawback of Excel. There is no other drawback for Excel. The only drawback is it becomes very slower as we start storing more amount of data, huge volume of data. That is the only drawback. But we do have several work around to handle that as well. But apart from that, it is the best tool for storing data and performing calculations. So now let's do some activities, some sort of exercises. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open some sort of data set. I have kept 3 data sets. So I'm just going to take, say for an example, property order product might be, and perform some sort of activities for you. If you see this Excel file, it contains 3 sheets in it: property info, products, and order details. In products table, we have product related information. In orders table, we have order related information. And in property info table, we have property related information. But in a business, so if I assume that, I wanted to retrieve the product name for this particular order. If you see in this table, I don't have product name. I just know that the order ID is 1. It got sold on a particular date on a particular property ID. I do not know what location it is. The proper product ID is also there, but I do not know the product name. Quantity is there. I do not even know the price of the product. If I wanted to retrieve the missing information, it is there in the mapping table, products mapping table. I have the ID to which I have the name, category, and price. What if I wanted to, retrieve these informations in the first table? So in this table, I want to know what is the name, category, and price for every single product that have been placed orders. There are 5,000 orders that have been placed. All these activities are really critical in real time. The most important function is Vlookup. Okay, there are plenty of functions in Excel. Excel is super familiar for allowing us to do a lot of calculations. You see here, I can perform different automatic aggregation functions, the recently used functions, financial functions, logical functions, text-based functions, even engineering-based functions, cube-based functions. There are plenty of functions that we can actually use to retrieve or generate a value. Here, to retrieve a value, product name, for a particular product ID that is present in a different table, I can use a simple lookup function, which is Vlookup. I say, for this particular product ID, I want to know what are the names and category of it. So see here, that's it. As soon as I'm done writing the formula, it gives me the product name for every single order. Now I don't have the category, right? So I'll simply retrieve the category by just tweaking the formula a little. That's it. That's all I have to do. It retrieves me the product categories. And again, if I tweak the formula a little, I can retrieve the value of each and every product as well. So for every single order, I was able to retrieve the product name, the product category, and the price of the product from the product mapping table. Okay, using a simple function. Now I have all the information here. But see here, there is one information that is missing. In this business table, I have the quantities, the number of quantities that I've sold in business on a particular order. And I also have the price for that particular product. I do not have a sales column, the revenue column basically. Okay. If I wanted to generate a revenue column, it is simply priced into quantity, right? So the number of products that I've sold for a particular price gives me my revenue. So I was able to retrieve that, calculate that as well, just by multiplying price into quantity. It cannot be more simpler at all. Again, this is not to help you understand the function. It is just to show you the capabilities of Excel. Okay, so just don't try to try to understand the logic behind the function. All I'm trying to show is how easily a problem can be solved using Excel. Okay, next, now in this case the data is present in vertical axis, so it was easy for me to retrieve information using VLOOKUP. What if I wanted to retrieve data that is horizontally present from top to bottom, right? I can use a simple HLOOKUP. I can use match index. I can use XLOOKUP, dget. There are plenty of lookup functions that we can actually use to look up information. Okay, XLOOKUP, index and match, VLOOKUP, and HLOOKUP. So for HLOOKUP also, I can give you some sort of example. Okay, the data is very good here. Let me do one thing. I have an Excel file where there are 100 exercises. So I guess I can take that to walk you through HLOOKUP as well. Now this is not 100. Just a minute. This is VLOOKUP. I don't have an exercise for HLOOKUP, I guess. Maybe we can take this VLOOKUP exercise and perform HLOOKUP in it. It's not a big deal. Let me just copy it and put it in our existing table. Just copy pasting it. And I have the commission values. So this is VLOOKUP because the data is present vertically. Now if it is present horizontally, what will happen? Now I have sorted data in horizontal axis. Let me do the same thing here as well. Perfect. Okay, now let's remove this. If the data is present horizontally, how will we retrieve the values? For that, we can use HLOOKUP. But trust me, in real time, we will not use HLOOKUP. It's always VLOOKUP because the data is never present horizontally. It is always present vertically only. Now see here, the example here is, I wanted to provide commission percentage for commission dollars for every single sales representative based on the number of customers that they have served. If the number of customers that they have served is between 0 to 60 customers, then we'll have to provide them nothing. If it is more than 60 customers that they have serviced, we'll have to give them $50 as an incentive. So I have to retrieve this information, incentive or bonus, I would say, for every single sales representative. Since the data is present horizontally, we will use a simple HLOOKUP. So the value that I'm looking for is this, and it is present in my second row, and I have an approximate match only, not an exact match. So see here, it has retrieved me the values. Now see here, Align have serviced more than 60 customers. If a particular sales representative have serviced more than 60 customers, they must be given $50. See here, so the bonus for Align is $50. Carol, on the other hand, have serviced only 22 customers. Between 0 to 60, they will get nothing. So see here, there is nothing for Carol. If it is more than 90, it should be 75. Gianna has serviced more than 90, so she gets $75 as bonus. So the idea is, even if the data is present vertically or horizontally or in any other position, we will still be able to perform the task just like that. That is the agenda here, not to help you understand the problem, the logic behind the functions here. Okay, it is just to show you how easily things can be achieved. So VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, index match, and all those things. The next, apart from functions and formulas, the other important aspect of Excel is pivot tables. So pivot tables are very, very critical in helping us understand the granular level data just by summarizing it at a particular level. Now, what am I saying is, see here, there are 5,000 orders that have happened in the business. Assume you are running a business. In a month, you have generated 5,000 orders. Now, how will you understand what happened in your business? Well, the only way is going through every single line item and see what has happened. But as human beings, we will not be able to remember every single information around this 5,000 orders, right? So the easiest way to understand the data is to summarize it, to aggregate it at a particular level. To perform pivot table, we can go to insert and choose pivot table, or we can use Alt+V. Alt+V is a shortcut to do it. Now see here, this is the range. I'll just create a new sheet where I can show you the summarized information. This is pivot table fields. See, for an example, I wanted to know under every single category, how much sales have I made. Okay, so I'll simply drag product category into rows and simply drag revenue into values. That's it. That's all I've done. Just drag category into rows, revenue into say values. Automatically it gives me the sum of revenue in furnishings is this much, housekeeping is this much, maintenance is this much, office supplies is this much, public areas is this much, and this is the overall revenue that we have earned so far in the business by selling in 5 different categories. If I wanted to know what is the date in which these orders have been made, I can drag and drop it in rows or columns as well. But again, it is too granular, right? The idea is, if you see this table, if you see the order details table, we cannot tell what was the total revenue under every single product category by ourselves, except that we can put it into a calculation and generate it. Maybe just to show you the power of pivot table, what I'll do is here, I can retrieve the same information from the table without using a pivot table also. But see, for that, what I have to do, I have to write a little complicated formula. I have to use sum ifs, then I have to say my first criteria is product category, and this is the one. Okay, that's it. I have to write such a lengthy formula in order to retrieve the same values as I have retrieved in a pivot table. 533479, 533479 is what we have. So we can retrieve the summarized information as well at a particular aggregated level using formulas, or without even writing formulas, we can achieve them through pivot table. We can change this in multiple ways. If you see the value field settings here, I can just see the total number of orders that have been placed under every category. Maybe I'll just show you one more information. I'll just add one more thing. The first one, I'll change the value field settings. I'll count it, and then I'll simply say number of orders. Then the second one is, I'll just keep sum of revenue only, total revenue. I'll just change it into total revenue. Then I'll say, what is the percentage share as well? I'll simply say percentage of row total. And I'll simply say percentage share. Let me quickly change this into column values. Perfect. Now see here, by selling 1,368 orders out of the 5,000 orders, furnishings category was able to generate 2,26,000 as revenue, which is 42% of the overall business share, right? So it is very simple. All we did was, from the granular level data, build a simple pivot and understand the entire business. Now, even if you think this is a little complicated, what we can do is, we can retrieve only select information and put it into a chart. Even better, right? We can put it into one pivot chart. Maybe I'll put it into an what is the pie chart? Okay, since there are plenty of information, just going to copy this, paste it as values, and the same thing, this as values. Okay, now let's chart this. Now let's visualize this. It becomes even better. We don't want grand total. We just want a title to the visual. I'll say category, and then let me go to insert charts. Let's build a donut chart or a pie chart. Donut chart is my personal favorite, so I'm simply going with it. So see here, you just add the data labels also. Just by seeing the visual, I can clearly tell public areas is generating more business. Sorry, furnishings is generating me more business than any other categories of business. Looks like 6 and 9. What are 6 and 9? Office supplies and housekeeping are actually not generating a lot of business to my, lot of revenue to my business. So all we did was, we cannot understand the granular level data all by ourselves. So we built a simple pivot and was able to visualize the information and understand the business. This is the overall idea. Not just we can perform calculations and visualizations, we can also cleanse the data in Excel. Data cleansing is the most important part in any project. So data cleansing can also be done very efficiently in Excel, right? So I'm just going to keep this sheet as it is. Okay, for data cleansing, let me do one thing. Save this file. So this particular file will have a lot of errors in it. Might be, see here, there are a lot of nulls in it. Maybe I'll just zoom this in a little. So let's write some sort of values here. I'm just writing this. Say for an example, I wanted to remove extra white spaces. I can use a simple trim function to remove the extra spaces. If I wanted to split this into 2 columns, I can split it just like that. Maybe I'll split it here. So all sorts of data cleansing is feasible in Excel just by using certain techniques. So almost all sorts of data cleansing techniques can be applied in Excel just like that. So data cleansing, data analysis, data visualization, everything can be done in a very efficient manner using Excel. And these are very, the general tasks that we do in real time. Apart from this, it is also known for its capabilities in helping you to perform automation. Automation can be done in two ways in Excel. Say for an example, you are performing data cleansing. Again, every month you might receive new data. You don't want to manually redo the same data cleansing every now and then, right? So what we can do is we can use Power Query, which is a component of Excel, through which we can automate the data cleansing completely. It is more or less like your proper ETL tool. Okay, ETL tools are simply nothing but tools that are helpful for performing data cleansing and automate it. Okay, say for an example, okay, let's take the same data set and perform data cleansing in Power Query. So I'll just say under data, I'll choose from table or range. Just say okay. It opens a new tool window. Okay, this is called as Power Query. It is a part of Excel only. Knowing Power Query will help you a lot because you can learn Power BI through it. Power BI contains Power Query as an ETL tool. Say for an example, I don't want order ID column anymore. This column is useless. If I remove this column in this month, next month data also, it should be removed automatically, right? So I'll simply right click and remove it. See in the applied steps section, we see that there is a step called removed columns is captured. So what happens is anytime new data comes in, these steps, the source, change type, remove columns, all these steps will get applied on the new data set, and the new data set will also be cleansed before it is given to you for performing data analysis. Here, if you see order date column, it contains time also. I don't want time, I just want the date. So I'll change the data type into date. It is captured here. It says that it is changed data type. Again, I may not want what I would say. I don't want product ID, property ID, only two IDs, right? I don't want these ID columns anymore. I'll just remove it, and I'll rename the sales column in capital sales, or say I would like to keep it as revenue, price, quantity, order date. Perfect. So we have all the required information. What if I wanted to give a serial number to every order? I can do that as well. Add column, index column. Let me just quickly remove that and then say it should start from 1. And then I'll quickly pull it to whatever action that I did here gets captured in the form of steps. So automatically when a new data set comes, all these steps will be applied on top of it so that you don't have to do the manual work of data cleansing. Once you are done, what I'll do is I'll simply close and load. So automatically it loads the updated data in your Excel only. It doesn't load it anywhere else. So we have the latest data, cleansed data from Power Query that is generated into Excel. So performing automation of ETL workflows can be done using Power Query, or it can be done using VBA as well. Okay, VBA and macros. So this visual basic application is something that is very helpful in performing redundant tasks. Okay, so whenever you are doing the same task again and again, if you feel like automating it, we can actually use VBA. It's a programming language. Okay, VBA is a programming language that we will use to automate certain tasks. Okay, those automated scripts are called as macros. Okay, macros is basically the script of VBA. Now it is a traditional programming language. The disadvantages, it's a traditional programming language. What do I mean by that is it is not very easy to understand, but it can be learned. It is not that easy as Python, but it can be always learned. Okay, it's a traditional programming language, so we have to write a lot of syntaxes to achieve certain tasks. I'll just give you the overview of it. You have to choose developer ribbon. This may not be available to you by default, so you have to go to file and then choose options. And if you see the customize ribbon option, this might be deselected by default, the developer ribbon. Just select and say okay. Automatically the developer ribbon will open. Here you can write programming, the macro script, the VBA script, or you can ask the machine to record an action. So what you can do is you can just click on record macro and then perform a task. Once the macro is saved, if you run the macro again, it will redo the same task without even you scripting anything. For an example, let's do one thing. I'll create a new file. So here in developer ribbon, I'll just say use relative references means on what cell what action is done. So in cell A1, I'm going to perform an action. It will remember the cell position also. Okay. So I'll say record a macro. The shortcut is Control plus E. I'm just giving a shortcut. Just saying okay. Here I'll say name marks. Okay. So what I'll do is 65, 66. I'm just writing some sort of formula. I'm intentionally doing this. Then I'll generate some random marks between 10 to 100. This is randomly generated. Now see what I'll do. I'll do some sort of formatting. I'm using a lot of shortcuts to do that. Now I have created a table, right? Now assume in every sheet I wanted to create a similar table. All I have to do is, since the macro is getting recorded, I'll simply say stop. That's it. All I have done is stop. Now see here, I'll go to new sheet. Look at the sheet. The sheet is not as formatted as my first sheet. But however, if I simply go to macros and run the macro that we have already recorded, it will create a very similar table to what we have. In A1, I just say run this macro. See here, it has created a macro, but the formatting didn't work as properly as planned in the first sheet. Once we work on proper formatting, it will work as well. So the point is, you don't even have to write a macro or know the programming language. You can perform a task and ask the machine to capture the steps. Automatically, those steps can be retrieved here. Looks like there is some sort of issue in the sheet. Just remove this. I'll create a new sheet. The shortcut is Control E. I'll press Control E. See here, I guess there is some sort of issue with the way that it got captured as well. If you want to tweak the macro, you can do that as well. Click on macro and just say edit. It will open the editor for you where you can edit the VBA. Here it is filling down and end with selection borders inside horizontal. Okay, here it is. Okay. See here, this is what VBA is. This is a programming language of VBA, and whatever action that we did, it got automatically captured and converted as a programming language. To open the VBA editor, you can press Alt F11. It will open the editor, and you can just close it. In that, we can write a program as well. Maybe I'll write a simple program for you. Manually to write a program, I can just say in this sheet, let's create a program. So the subject is hello. I just wanted to run a message box that will say hello world, welcome to Intellipaat Excel webinar. That's it. All I have to do is save it. Like I don't even have to save it, just close it. Now if I run the macro, so let me run the macro. Macros start. If I run, it will simply print a message for me. It says, hello world, welcome to Intellipaat Excel webinar, right? See here, hello world, welcome to Intellipaat Excel. So the point is, we can automate a task, we can perform an activity all through macros so that we don't have to redo it again and again. This is about the introduction to webinar and the formulas and functions. We can also build excellent dashboards using Excel. Most of the companies, even today, use Excel reporting very vividly for understanding their business. Okay, I happen to have built a very good dashboard using Excel. I can walk you through that as well. I can just walk you through the features as well. They're very interactive. Excel module dashboard. Yeah. So this particular Excel file will show you the process, complete process. Let me don't save it. Yeah, perfect. Now this is exactly what will happen in your real time. See here, you have huge number of columns. If you see the bottom here, it says 22 columns are there in this table, and there are 10,000 rows of record. Okay, if I have so much of data, how can I understand what happened in my business? So it is the most important question. As we can see the data here, it is very clean and properly formatted. So I have done this from collecting data from 3 different sources. Okay, 3 different Excel file. I collated it as one Excel file to create one large table for me. But the problem here is I cannot understand the information here. So what we will always do is, okay, this is our source data. We will always pivot it to see the high level information. If you see the second sheet, it is basically called as data analysis, simple data analysis only. I can see how much sales have been generated by each and every shipment mode. Again, in each and every category, how much sales have been made within each and every segment, how much sales have been made or generated within each and every region, how much sales have been generated. Again, by subcategories, we are just saying the sales. Even though the data is at a very high level, okay, it's aggregated at a particular level, it is still too much for us to understand, correct? It is still too much for the business people to sit and understand every single data point. So the easiest way is to build a dashboard, is to build a report. We will call it as a dashboard or a report. Just by seeing the report, anybody can understand what happened in the business, right? If you see your consumer products are actually, consumer segments are actually generating more revenue than the other 2 segments in business. Technology category is outperforming the other 2 categories in terms of sales. In terms of region, all the region seems to perform better except for South. Here, the South region is not generating so much of sales, but apart from that, all the other regions seems to generate good amount of sales. In shipment mode, standard class delivery is what people prefer than the other class deliveries. First day, same day delivery, second class delivery, and first class delivery. People don't prefer a lot. People generally prefer standard class deliveries in a business. In terms of subcategories, I can clearly see chairs and phones are actually generating more revenue than majority of the products. Whereas fasteners, envelopes, art, supplies, labels are generating, are producing very poor revenue in the business. And the good thing is we can also see the same information by applying slices. Say for an example, I just wanted to see what happened in Kansas state. Only in Kansas, I wanted to see what is my business. I can click on Kansas. See here in Kansas, home office is performing better than the other 2 categories. The standard class shipment mode are much more in Kansas than in other things. In terms of category also, office supplies is performing than technology. But if I deselect it, I can search for a different state. Say for an example, I would like to see what is happening in Washington. Just click on Washington. The entire table talks only about Washington. So it is super easy and cool for the users to understand what happens in the business if it can be visualized and filters can be provided. For certain customers, we can see the customers starting with A, how much sales have they generated, what is the overall trend and all those things. So this is how it will be in real time. You will collate data from multiple sources. You will clean the data, create the final table, or you can keep it in multiple tables as well, and perform data analysis. Here I've just performed the basic analysis of just seeing sum of sales for all the different categories and then reporting it. Okay, these are basically the steps that we will do in real time. For data cleansing, we will use Power Query or VBA to perform automation so that we don't have to redo the same task again and again. And the macros are simply a technique that we will use in Excel to simply ensure that we don't do the same task again and again. Maybe, I guess I have a proper file for that as well. Just give me a second. I have month. I'll simply say date, and I have sales. Okay, 1 April. Okay, here I'll just say +1. Now allow me to demonstrate the importance of macros. That's my formula bar. Okay, I guess it's fine. Okay, this is for April. Okay, I'm just going to keep another file for March, another file for January. I'm just creating 3 different files. And this is how in your real time also your data works. 1st Jan. Okay, I'm just gonna save everything. Excel module. So this is Jan sales. I have Jan sales. I just want to keep it somewhere, and I also have This is for Feb. Okay, I'm just gonna keep it for. Okay, I'm just going to keep it as Feb. So Jan sales I have, just going to say Feb sales. Then I also had March sales. Sorry, Jan. Oh, sorry, what is this? This is for April. Fine, anything is fine, I guess, as long as I have 3 months of data. Perfect. Now, since I have 3 months of data, I wanted to perform. These are all simply business data, right? The business is going to produce you the same files again and again. But every month you're generating a new file. What if you wanted to perform a task on all the 3 files? In real time, you will have more than 10-20 files. Do you really want to do the same task in every single file? Obviously no, right? Say for an example, here I wanted to see, okay, the percentage of sales for every single day. Percentage of sales is what I need to calculate. This is what I need to calculate. So what I have to do, I have to divide this by sum of this, correct? For every single value, I have to do it. So I have calculated or performed this logic in one Excel file, but I have 2 more of the same files where I have to generate exactly the same task. I don't want to manually go there, create percentage of sales, and then generate these values one by one. Rather, what I would do is I'll create a macro. See here, I'll go to my developer. I'll simply say relative reference macro, and then I'll simply say it can be accessed by Control E. Then I'll say okay. I'll say percentage of sales, and then I'll say divide this by sum of, and then convert this into percentage. So I have done this in one file, right? I'll stop recording this. I'll go to the next file that I have. In Feb file, I come here and press Control E. See here, automatically it has generated me percentage of sales. All I did was press Control E. It will help us, the macro, the capability of VBA is to simply help us to perform redundant tasks without redoing it again and again. All I did was press Control E in this Excel file. I'll go to January file. In January file, we have it, right? Okay, I'll go to April file. In April, it is there. In Feb, it is there. In Jan file, did I do it? Okay, let me remove it from Jan, Feb. Okay, why Jan file is not coming up? Okay, see here. I'll press Control E, it works here. The Jan file is in the next screen. I was wondering what happened to it. See here also we don't have a third column, right? But see what happens if I press Control E here. That's it. Automatically it performs the same calculation here as well. So it is super simple to use macros and VBA so that a task, redundant task can be automated. But there are certain limitations using macros. It can work only in Microsoft products. You cannot automate all the tasks. There are certain limitations, but it solves majority of the data redundancy tasks that we will do in real time. Okay, could you please explain tools like Solver? Okay, so I'm not an application developer. It is used only for application development within Excel. So for data analysis and for handling data, you can ask any questions associated. It's good to see the overall capabilities in regard to possible ways to approach different problems. What are the tools generally used for data analytics? Depends on, there are plenty of types of analytics. It depends on what is the requirement that the tools will be chosen. For ETL, the general processing is data cleansing. For data cleansing, we will call it a process called ETL. For ETL, we'll generally use Alteryx. I personally use Alteryx Designer. We can use Informatica. We can use Power Query. I also use Power Query. It's very, very efficient and easy. We can use a Talend. So there are plenty of, and if you know SQL, that is enough. To be honest, if you don't have to know any of these tools, if you know SQL, we can perform ETL very efficiently. Okay, that is for data cleansing. For data analysis, what are the tools that we can use? We can use any type of SQL. We can also use Excel, pivot, and all those things. And most importantly, we can use Python for data analysis. And for data visualization, we can actually use Tableau or Power BI or ClickView, something of your choice. I guess this should work. If you know SPSS, these are all added advantages in data analysis, but I guess if you know either one in this, that is more than enough. Irvin asks a very important question. Where does Excel end and Power BI begin? Very, very good question, Irvin. See, even though I walked you through data visualization in Excel, it is not very interactive. It is not very dynamic. So in order to perform better reporting, Power BI comes into picture. But the good thing is, if you know Excel, Power BI is just walk in the park. If you go to the data ribbon, there is this component called Power Query. Okay, this queries and connections. You just need to know Power Query, and there is another concept called Power Pivot in Excel. Okay, Power Pivot and Power Query. If you know these two components, Power BI is nothing. Okay, Power BI is basically an extended version of these two things only. We will use Power Pivot to relate multiple tables. We will call it as data modeling, and we will use Power Query for ETL tool. Using Power BI desktop, we can perform visualization. It is super simple. But the advantages of learning Power Pivot and Power Query is that it can handle more than 1,000,000 records. Excel cannot handle it, but Power Pivot and Power Query can handle more than 1,000,000 records. That is the main advantage of using these two things. So whenever you have large data, and if you want to perform, build efficient reporting, blindly go with Power BI or a data visualization. And companies use all sorts of software. SAS is there, SPSS is used, SPSS is used, R is used, Python is used, Julia is used, Scala is used. There are plenty of things. SQL, can you show demo? It's not part of this webinar, Hemant. I guess there will be a different webinar arranged for SQL. The idea is to show you the capabilities of Excel and help you understand that it is a very efficient tool for you to, it is a very important tool. I just cannot emphasize enough on the importance of Excel. I am myself a data scientist. Even though I use plenty of tools, for me, the personal favorite is Excel.
So guys, hi, my name is Nidhi. I'm the course advisor. I'm a senior course advisor here at Intellipaat. And I believe you guys had a wonderful workshop with our trainer, Gautam, just few minutes back. It was about how to analyze data on Excel, right? Now, of course, see, as a course advisor, my role is to give you the best possible advice and help you in deciding, which course would be most relevant for you in terms of, starting your career as a data analyst. Now, I'm sure most people who have joined this particular webinar or workshop, most of you guys are from non-IT sector also, correct? In that case, see, we do have a course on our website which is relevant for people who want to build their career in data analyst, data analytics field. Also, somebody who don't want to actually upskill to data science. Data science is a very advanced feature or advanced topic of data analytics itself. Okay, now see, a lot of people want to get a job in analytics, but they don't want to learn the very technical aspects of machine learning, artificial intelligence, correct? So for those people, we have a course named as Advanced Certification in Data Analytics for Business.
All right. So guys, I was explaining about the advanced certification in data analytics for business course, which is in tie-up with IIT Madras. So firstly, I was sharing, this course is most relevant for people who want to, get a job in IT, who want to get into the analytics field, but definitely don't want to, learn the advanced concepts of a lot of technical things like machine learning, artificial intelligence, and all those technologies. So data analytics, firstly, very good option to pick up. Why? Because no prerequisites in terms of prior knowledge, experience, or academic background as such. And even if you come with zero knowledge, here at Intellipaat, we are going to teach you from the basics only, and then we take you to the intermediate and advanced level of training. Having said that, data analytics also has the highest number of job opportunities right now in the IT sector, and it is also one of the highest paid job roles, not only in India but also abroad. So I'm sharing my screen right now with you guys. All right, this is the course which I was talking about. The best part of this course is that this course is designed in collaboration with a Center of Continuing Education, IIT Madras. Why IIT Madras? Because see, data analytics as a technology, right, or as a job role, it does not have any governing body. Okay, so obviously you need to have a globally valid certificate in order to differentiate yourself from a lot of other technology, other institutes which are offering this course. All right. So the IIT Madras course completion certificate which you get is a verified digital certificate, globally valid, industry recognized. Not only the certificate, but even the content is designed in collaboration with the Center of Continuing Education, IIT Madras. So you're not only getting an industry recognized certificate, you're also getting an industry recognized content also. Okay, now first I will explain you the curriculum, and then I will explain you how the course will be conducted for you. All right, now I see there are a few people who are posting a few questions. I will take all the questions by the end of the course explanation. All right, so yeah, you see here we have tabs like about, mentors, curriculum. I'll click on curriculum now. I'll explain the curriculum. All right, the module number 1 is the preparatory sessions on MS Excel and Python, because of course for a person who wants to get into analytics, data analyst or data analytics program, Excel and Python foundation should be very, very strong. Excel is like a basic requirement which any analyst should know, right? So we are giving you the foundation classes first so that your foundation is very strong. And why Python? Because see, Python is the most trending and the most popular programming language in today's world. Almost 80% organizations are using Python as a programming and analytical tool. The benefit of Python is very easy to understand from the syntax point of view also. It is not as tough as Java or any other language. Next, module number 2 that you see is data wrangling with SQL. Now, why SQL? Because SQL is a database course, right? Now, it's very important for you to start from the zero, from the very scratch, very basic. So in the database course, you'll understand how to pull out data from the database of a company. Then we have module number 3, which is data science with R. Now, R is a statistical tool. It will involve more of math, stats, and probability. It does not involve much of coding or programming. So here you will learn concepts like data visualization, data manipulation, data exploration, data wrangling, etc. Then is module number 4, which is an introduction to data science and statistics. Like I mentioned to you earlier, data analytics, data analyst job role is a subset of data science, correct? So of course, having a basic introduction or an overview of data science and statistics is very, very important. So here you will learn the, an introduction to probability. You will learn the descriptive statistics using mean, median, mode. All right. Then we have module number 5, which is business problem solving, insights, and storytelling. So here you will be given, case studies from business, different domains like finance, marketing, retail, supply chain. Because the role of a data analyst, right, is not restricted to just an IT company. Tomorrow you might get placed in a finance-based company or maybe an international bank like JP Morgan. So we'll give you projects and case studies in different industries so that you understand the technology implementation in various industries, not just one. Next, module number 6 we have is optimization techniques, wherein you learn the decision tree, random forest, and regression. Then we have NIME. All right, so you learn how to work with data in NIME and web scraping and hyperparameter optimization in NIME. Module number 8 is statistics, machine learning using R programming. Now see, you've already learned what is R as an analytical tool. You've learned Python as an analytical tool, right? Now how to apply these tools using machine learning, how to apply this in the machine learning format, algorithms will be taught. Okay, so machine learning using R is going to be taught in module number 8. Then module number 9 is predictive modeling. All right, so here you learn logistic regression, linear discriminant analysis, multilinear series for forecasting, a very important topic for an analytics professional. Then we have feature engineering, wherein you learn how to handle unstructured data and unbalanced data, which is also very, very crucial for a data analyst professional. Then we have module number 12, which is advanced machine learning techniques. Okay, here you'll learn how to solve problems on Kaggle. Then there is data science execution strategy. So here you learn the mapping of the data architecture strategy. Then there is module number 14. Again, like I said, you'll have a lot of case studies. So here we'll give you case studies from 4 domains, which is marketing, social, logistics, and financial. Then module number 15 is data visualization using Power BI. Now, Power BI is a business intelligence and reporting tool. And here, whatever analysis you do, it will be represented in graph or chart form. And it is one of the #1 reporting tools in the market right now. Next we have is Presto. Presto, you know, a lot of guys must have already heard of what Presto is. Here you learn how to write queries on large data sets. Then finally, module number 17 is the data science capstone project. Now, capstone project is nothing but a project wherein you learn you learn how to work on all the tools and technologies that you have learned so far. So in one project, you will be applying the knowledge of all the above 16 modules that you have learned. All right. Now let's talk about how the course will be conducted for you. For now, we've gone through the curriculum. Now let's click on About Program here on About tab, and we will go through the key highlights as to how the course will be conducted for you. Now, firstly, you see there is 400 hours of applied learning. 400 hours of applied learning is nothing but a blend of live lectures, recordings, as well as a lot of hands-on project work and practice work. All right, so you'll be getting 50+ live sessions in the next 7 months. These are live interactive lectures from the trainers, and the trainers are from the industry itself. They carry an average of 10 to 15 years of industry experience with relevant domain experience of minimum 8 years in data analytics. Okay, now the best part here is that 40% of the lectures will be taken by the IIT Madras professors. Remaining would be taken by the industry experts. So basically you get best of both the worlds. You'll get the IIT Madras professors as well as the industry experts. All right, next you see is 218 hours of self-paced learning. Self-paced learning is nothing but structured pre-recorded lecture videos, again by the same industry experts, which comes with lifetime access. All right, so basically to sum it up, you're getting 3 things here. One is live lectures, second is recordings of live lectures with lifetime access, and third is pre-recorded lecture videos with lifetime access. Now, the most significant feature of the program is the project work and exercise. Why? Because you're not only learning, you're also applying what you have learned. So you will know the areas and opportunities for you to grow during the entire program. So total you are getting 50+ industry projects in case studies. And like I mentioned, we'll give you projects from different industries so that you understand the technology implementation in various industries, not just one. Now, the best part of these project work is that all these projects are real world company projects, which means we take these projects from companies and we give it to you for working. We don't give you any dummy data sets or dummy projects to work upon. So the benefit is the same 50+ projects and case studies that we are giving you will, this in which you will be working in the next 7 months, it will be considered as 6 months of internship in the data analytics field. All right, so apart from getting a course completion certificate from the Center of Continuing Education IIT Madras in collaboration with Intellipaat, additionally, you are getting 1 internship certificate from our side for working on the 50+ industry projects and case studies that we are giving you. Now, this internship certificate will add a lot of value to your profile. It will highlight your profile even further. And of course, the knowledge that you get at the end of the program, that would be cutting edge. So apart from, of course, the certificate and the internship certificate, all these projects will be mentioned on your CV while you go for interviews, right? So that will be quite helpful for you. Now you see the certificate, right, is signed by the professor of the Digital Skills Academy of IIT Madras, the chairman for the Center of Continuing Education of IIT Madras, and also the founder of Intellipaat. It comes with a unique certificate number on the top right corner. Here you see. Now next is, of course, in terms of support, see, our head office is in Bangalore, regional office is in US. So we have learners from all across the globe. 50% of the learners are from US and Canada as well. So our support team works 24/7. Even if you call them at 2 o'clock in the night, they'll answer your call. Okay, so there are 2 ways of getting your queries answered. One is definitely in the live lecture, you can ask your queries directly to the trainer. But if you're not in a live lecture and if you still have a query, you can reach out to the support team is a premium institute. We're going a step further. We're also offering you a dedicated personal learning manager. Now, personal learning manager is someone whom you can keep in touch with whenever you have any.
Today, what we are going to see.
It will be considered certificate. All these projects will be mentioned on your CV while you go for interviews, right? So that will be quite helpful for you. Now you see the certificate, right, is signed by the professor of the Digital Skills Academy of IIT Madras, the chairman for the Center of Continuing Education of IIT Madras, and also the founder of Intellipaat. It comes with a unique certificate number on the top right corner. Here you see. Now next is, of course, in terms of support, see, our head office is in Bangalore, regional office is in US. So we have learners from all across the globe. 50% of the learners are from US and Canada as well. So our support team works 24/7. Even if you call them at 2 o'clock in the night, they'll answer your call. Okay. So there are two ways of getting your queries answered. One is definitely in the live lecture, you can ask your queries directly to the trainer. But if you're not in a live lecture and if you still have a query, you can reach out to the support team. Support team will connect you with a technical expert who can also resolve your queries one-on-one. So we have one-on-one query resolution as well for our students. In fact, since IIT Madras is a premium institute, we're going a step further. We're also offering you a dedicated personal learning manager. Now, personal learning manager is someone whom you can keep in touch with whenever you have any issues or concerns. So whenever you have any issues or concerns, you just have to reach out to your personal learning manager via call, email, or WhatsApp, and he or she will try and resolve your queries at the earliest. So this person is like a point of contact for you for any issues that you face in the next 7 months of your online education journey with Intellipaat. All right. Next, see, in terms of career services, I've almost explained you everything apart from this career services feature. I'll explain you that as well. Now for this, we scroll down. Okay, and we click on this tab. You see this tab, career services, we'll click on that one. All right. Now, in terms of providing you with job opportunities, we have a tie-up with 400 plus companies across the globe. So what we do initially, guys, is initially we will help you with your resume preparation and your LinkedIn profile update. Why? Because see, as of now, most people who are attending the workshop would be new to this particular field, right? You might not have a built-up resume for the data analytics job role. So initially, we will help you with your resume preparation and your LinkedIn profile update. Once that is done, we will share your resume with different tie-ups that we have. And according to your preferred location of work, let's say your preferred location of work is Bangalore, or let's say Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, Delhi, Gurgaon, Haryana, Chennai, whatever is your preferred location of work, you can let us know. Okay, and we will conduct interviews for you. Okay, so the best part of our career services is that we are giving you 3 guaranteed interviews in our 400 plus hiring partners. All right. Now, of course, 3 is the minimum itself, because see, why 3 guaranteed interviews? Because see, a lot of learners, they need an assurance, right, in terms of interviews and career services. That is why we have mentioned 3 guaranteed interviews. If you want more, we can conduct more as well. Apart from conducting interviews, we will also conduct mock interviews. We'll give you interview questions, interview answers, assignments, quizzes, case studies. Whatever you need to be prepared with before going for interviews will be provided from our side. You also see here, we mentioned we are giving you an exclusive access to the Intellipaat job portal, on which 400 plus hiring partners are already registered. So we'll give you the ID and password of this job portal. You can also start applying online. See, we click on interview preparation. You see, mock interview preparation starts after 80% of the course completion. There's also something called as one-on-one career mentoring session, which starts after 90% of the course completion. And here starts after 70% of the course completion. So guys, I've explained almost everything about the course, the benefits, the features, how it will be conducted for you, the career services and curriculum. Now, in case if you have any questions, you can post your questions here and I will be happy to answer. So I have one question. Somebody is asking, don't have basic knowledge of this program. All right. So like I mentioned, there is no prerequisite in terms of prior knowledge, experience, or academic background. Even if you come with zero knowledge, we are teaching from the basics itself. So you don't have to worry about knowing the basics. Now we understand 30 to 40% learners are coming from complete non-IT background who don't even know what is analytics. That is why you see module number 1 is the preparatory session. The name itself of the module is preparatory, so that we prepare you for the future advanced topics, right? So we give you the preparatory sessions which will help you in forming a strong foundation for this entire 7 months of program. Okay, so I hope I've clarified that question about having no basic knowledge. Somebody has asked, can I see a sample certificate? Yes, I think I did click on Zoom and did show you the sample certificate. I hope you're able to see it again. So the sample certificate, you can see it is mentioned Center for Continuing Education, Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. Certificate of completion. This is to certify that Hemant Jain has successfully completed an advanced certification in data analytics for business, conducted through the Digital Skills Academy. Now, Digital Skills Academy is a department of IIT Madras, which conducts online training, okay, for its learners by the Center of Continuing Education, IIT Madras, in association with Intellipaat. Okay. Now, IIT Madras itself is ranked as #1 by the NIRF ranking. So you're getting the training from a reputed and a premium institute like IIT Madras. So the learning experience will be quite pleasant. I hope you guys understand that. Then I have one more question. I'm enrolled for Master's Data Analyst course, only 2 courses completed in 3 months. Okay, I guess there is some support, which is required for your course change, access, or your, batches. Amit, right? You have asked a question, how can I, check the ongoing courses? You just have to send an email to your course advisor, Soumya, and you can also send an email to support@intellipaat.com. You'll get a response within 24 hours. Definitely you'll get a response from the support team in 24 hours. Just say that you want to start with the classes, you want access to the Power BI live classes which was promised to you. Next, I have a question from AV Russia. Can I aim to become a business analyst or financial analyst by taking this course, as I'm a fresher? Of course, AV, that is possible. I'll tell you what, this particular course that we are conducting, we are offering in collaboration with the Center of Continuing Education, IIT Madras. Of course, it's a very, generic course which will help you provide case studies and projects from different industries. Now I see that your aim is to become an analyst specifically in the finance domain, right? A business analyst or a financial analyst is what you aim to become in future. In that case, how we can help is, of course, you can take up this course. Data analytics for business is the best course for you. It's a natural progression for a business analyst or a financial analyst to take up. Now, what we can do to help you specialize this in the finance domain is the 50+ projects that we were talking about, right? You just have to send an email to your support team or the course advisor stating that I want maximum projects in the finance domain. So rather than they, bifurcating your projects in, marketing, retail, finance, e-commerce, IT, banking, they'll give you maximum projects from finance domain. So that will specialize this course for you in finance. So you can mention all those finance related projects in your CV when you go for interviews. So Amit, I see that you have raised a query again. I will look into it personally. I will make sure that you get a response. Just help me with your email ID here on the chat. All right. So AV has mentioned I have a master's in business management degree. That's wonderful, AV. This will help you to build a strong profile in future for the finance related analytics roles. All right. Any other questions that we have? Okay, so I have a question from Hemant asking, making portfolio helps us in future. If you're asking about the career services, yes, of course, we'll help you in the profile building, which will help you in getting better responses from the employers. So your profile building on LinkedIn will be done. Your profile building on your CV will be done properly, so you'll get an entire new face to your CV and your link. All right guys, I have another question asking about the guaranteed interviews. Yes, of course, there are 3 guaranteed interviews. Like I said, see, the best that you have to do from your side, guys, is of course you have to dedicate your time and efforts towards learning the technology. You have to master the skills so that you're able to crack the interviews at your end. The best assurance we are giving is definitely we will conduct these 3 guaranteed interviews for you. All right. Okay, I have another question asking the batch timings. So in terms of the batch timings, very good question. Sorry, I missed that part. The batch timings are Saturday, Sunday, 8 to 11 in the evening, which is most suited, for working professionals. So Saturday, Sunday, 8 to 11 in the evening are the batch timings, guys. And yes, you get recordings by Monday. So Saturday, Sunday, you attend the classes. By Monday, first half, you'll have the recordings of all the classes. And yes, it comes with lifetime access. Okay, I have somebody asking the course fee structure as well. Guys, when we click on this tab, click on fees, you see the course fee structure is 85,000 plus 18% GST, which is 1,352 rupees. Okay, somebody also asked about the EMI options. Yes, we do have no cost EMI options available. Either you can convert it into EMI using a debit card. We have no cost EMI with debit card. We have no cost EMI with credit cards also available. If you don't have either of the 2 options available, then we also have our financing partners like Bajaj Financial Services. You guys must have heard about it. Then there is Zest Money. A lot of financial partners that we have tied up with. So you can, for US, there is a toll-free number. For India, it is +9 702223 74614. However, if you want to get in touch with me directly, the number is shared in the chat box there. All right. Any other questions that you have, guys? Thank you so much for your time, guys. It was wonderful, talking to you today.